Hello, I'm Jason. Welcome to my video reviewing the comic books that were released on the 18th of July 2012. Before I get into my review, I would just like to say thank you to everybody who's commented on my videos and people that have been watching them. I'm loving doing these videos, and it's great that there's other people out there that are enjoying hearing my opinions, and I just would like to thank everybody. It's much appreciated, everybody's support. Let's get down to it, because I've got a lot of books to get through this week. We've got 9 to get through, and you know how I waffle on. We start off with Avengers vs. X-Men Round 8, written by Brian Michael Bendis and art by Adam Kubert. Previously, we had seen the Phoenix Force coming to Earth, and it's looking for a human host, and that host is Hope Summers. The X-Men think it's going to be the rebirth of the mutant race, while the Avengers feel it's going to be death and destruction, and a conflict is formed. Hope rejects the Phoenix Force as it's too much for her. Iron Man blasts it with his Phoenix Killer armor, but it does nothing but fracture it into 5 parts, and these go into Cyclops, Emma Frost, Namor, Magic and Colossus, making them into the Phoenix 5. They then return to Earth, where they reshape the Earth, making it so like plants can grow in the desert, destroying all the world's weapons so there's no more war, and just really making it into a much better place. The Avengers, though, are still worried for the future. They feel that eventually the X-Men, the Phoenix 5 will lose their humanity, and that will be a bad day, and they need to be ready for that day. They decide they're going to not invade, but they're going to try and break Hope out of Utopia. Cyclops catches them, and he's basically kicking their ass when Scarlet Witch enters the fray and saves the Avengers and Hope. This causes Cyclops to decree no more Avengers, and they rebrand the Avengers as a global terrorist network, and the X-Men and the Phoenix 5 are hunting down the Avengers and locking them up. Emma Frost and Namor think that they should be doing a more permanent solution of killing the Avengers, but Cyclops says no, this is not war, this is an intervention, and we will just lock them up. Emma Frost then tells Namor where the Avengers are hiding, and Namor heads to Wakanda to destroy the Avengers. This issue picks up straight there as Namor has declared war on Wakanda, and is along with his fellow Atlanteans, he's destroying everything in Wakanda. The Avengers that are there try to battle him off until the others arrive, and when they arrive they all lay the smackdown on Namor. After much destruction, they manage to put Namor down. As the remaining 4 members of the Phoenix 5 arrive in Wakanda, then the energy from Namor, his portion of the Phoenix Force, goes into the other 4 of the Phoenix 5. The Avengers manage to escape to Kunlun, where they make plans for the future, while Professor Xavier telepathically warns Cyclops to stop his actions, or he will have to stop him. All in all, this was a good issue. The majority of it was the battle in Wakanda, which was brilliant, and as Namor is just like out of control as he further gives in. Like, Namor already had a bit of a temper and a bit of a dark side, so now you've got the corruption of the Phoenix Force within him. It just really amps him up and makes him worse. I thought the whole story arc in this one I liked. The Avengers are really up against it, but you've got these little plot threads that are coming together. You've got Scarlet Witch and Iron Fist, who both seem to be able to hurt the Phoenix Force. You've also now got Professor Xavier entering the fight. You've got the Phoenix Force as they are now, that when one of them's defeated, the others get the power. Well, we already know that Magic and Emma Frost disagree with Cyclops' dealing of this situation. So will there come a time where the remaining Phoenix 4 will turn on each other until there's just one? And would that be better or worse for the Avengers? Will it be easier to defeat like 4 separate members than one souped up member of Phoenix Force? So, you know, there's a lot of things there that I think the last few issues of this are just going to be a fantastic coaster roll, going to be a fantastic ride. I like the art in this issue. It was a different artist. We were having Olivier Coipel, who I thought was doing a great job, but this issue there, you've got, you know, Kunlun as Wolverine and Hulk arrived there, and you got Cap battling Phoenix powered Namor. The issue kicks off with this gorgeous double page as Namor arrives in Wakanda, And there's another great picture here of the Avengers turning up, the remaining members of the Avengers turning up, which I really like that picture. So the art I really liked. I think Bendis does a good job with the story, and the story moves more forward. Again, my slight little gripe, I would have liked to have seen what the human civilization are thinking of this, because if before all of this they hated and distrusted the mutants, and now you've got these godlike mutants, surely that's going to make matters worse. Okay, yeah, they're scared, so they won't say nothing, but surely there'd still be, you know, be rumblings, and I would love to know what the different countries are thinking about that, because we never see any of the civilians. We'll only see the Avengers and the X-Men, but maybe they'll get something like that in the crossover books. That because I personally, I would like to see that. But this book, again, I'm loving this series, and I'm really enjoyed this book. I got the variant cover this week. See, I've got the arm with the Avengers, which I was chuffed to have got. But I'm enjoying this book. I don't know where it's going to take me next. I'm looking very forward to seeing the conclusion to this and what lasting effects there will be, and I give it a thumbs up. Next up, we have my book of the week. And reading my books, you know, it's always, you always have one in mind, like which is going to be my favourite book, because I like to sort of pick out my pick of the week. But reading through my first 3 books I loved, and there were some other good books, but this book, I was just, while I read it, I was just totally enveloped in that world. It is such a fantastically well written book, and the art draws so much emotion, and I'm just thoroughly enjoying it. And every month it's just a dose of awesomeness, and that is Saga chapter 5. If you've not been following Saga, it follows our main 2 characters, Alana and Marco, and they are in love and they are married, and they come from these 2 races that are at war with each other, and the war is spread throughout the galaxy with everybody taking 2 sides. But Alana and Marco fall in love, and they get married, and they have a child, and that's where we joined them in the story when Alana had just given birth. And they're on the run from their people who want to kill them, because they don't want it getting out that 2 people from each side married each other and have a child. So Alana's people have sent this guy, Prince Robot IV, to kill them, while Marco's people have hired these freelancers, which are basically like bounty hunters. And you've got these 2, there's the Will and there's the Stork, and they are trying to track down our characters. Once the Will finds out his ex-girlfriend, the Stork, is on the case, he knows there's no way that he's going to win this job. So he uses the money they've given him for expenses to go to this planet called Sextillion, which is basically a brothel planet. And he goes there to get his itch scratched, but when he gets there, everything's a bit too vanilla for him, so nothing to scratch that itch. So he goes to the lower levels finds this pimp who says, "Oh, I've got something for you." Takes him, says, "This woman will do whatever you say." Opens the door and it's a little girl. The Will is outraged and just crushes the guy's head using his hands, just crushes the guy's head, because he's appalled that this guy is using this child for prostitution. Then, meanwhile, Marco and Alana are on the run. Marco gets injured by the Stork. She then goes off because there's these ghosts in the forest that spook her. One of the ghosts, called Isabel, tells Alana she can save Marco. She can help get the magic that can cure his injuries, but that she wants to leave the planet, and the only way Isabel can leave the planet, because she's a ghost, is she has to have her soul merged with somebody else's. So Alana lets her merge her soul with Hazel, their baby. But while Marco is injured, he's delirious, and he mentions this other woman called Gwendolyn, and so Alana's like, "Who's Gwendolyn?" And they heal Marco. Marco's okay, and then he reveals that Gwendolyn was his childhood sweetheart back home, and that they were deeply in love. But then he went to war and she stayed home. That on the battlefield he saw the realities of war and the senselessness of war, but she was still back home listening to all the propaganda, and she thought the war was fair and just and that they should carry on. So they sort of grown apart, and he was going to dump her, and then he met Alana. So, you know, there ain't no dark secret there. so Alana's a bit happy with that. They then carry on their way, and the last issue sort of ended with this spaceship coming up in front of them from the mountains. This issue kicks off with Prince Robot as we find out that his wife's pregnant, but his uncle won't let him go home until he's caught Marco and Alana. He then gets a message from these people saying that their ship's found them, and these soldiers try to kill Marco and Alana. Alana gets caught with some crossfire. Marco just loses it. He kills all the guards until Alana calms him down, and then they take the spaceship and they're going to fly to rocket ship Forest, where they can get a long distance ship that's going to take them out of the galaxy. Meanwhile, the Will is trying to take the little girl off of Sextillion, but the woman who owns her contract finds them and says, look, she's got this thing injected in her that if she tries to leave the planet she will die. And so the Will says, I'll buy her. She tells him how much it's going to cost, and it's more money than he's got, so he contacts the Stork to see if they can go into partnership to catch these two that they've been paid to get. The Stork has found the dead bodies of the soldiers and is on their trail, and when Prince Robot turns up, and that's what takes to the end of the issue that I don't want to ruin. I love this book. First thing I want to rave about is the art. Fiona Staples is doing an awesome job with the art, and the thing that I love most about art is the eyes. You've got this scene after Alana's got shot here where Marco's killing all the guards, and if you look, if you look there, that picture there, you look at his eyes, she really gets across the anger, but then when his wife sort of calms him down, you've got the wide eyes there of like regret. And that's one of the things that Fiona Staples does so well. She conveys so much emotion through her pictures, and it's the eyes. She just gets the eyes, and it conveys so much with the facial expressions. She's just a very talented artist. The script as well, this issue I loved in that we got a bit more motive for Prince Robot and the Will to really want to get Alana and Marco, that it's not just a job for them now. They've got reasons. Prince Robot wants this done so he can get home to his wife, so he can see her give birth, while meanwhile the Will, he wants the money so he can save this little girl. So all in all, I'm really loving this book. Every month, it's like I said, it's a dose of awesomeness, and my pick of the week, and I give it a solid thumbs up. Next up, another book that I'm loving is Exo Man of War, issue 3 by Valiant Comics. Previously, Arik of Dacia, who was a Visigoth, and they live on the edge of the Roman Empire in the year 400 and I think, was it 410 or 408? Oh no, 402 AD. And they're going into battle with the Romans. The Romans slaughter them. Arik's dad gets killed. His wife and son get captured and took into slavery. Arik wants revenge. They spot this transport. They think it's Romans, so they attack it, but it's in fact aliens who have landed. These aliens called the Vine. They capture Arik and his friend Gafty and take them off into space. Use them as slaves on this where they grow all these plants. They make the slaves sort of do the farming work. They chop Arik's hand off for being disobedient. He, over the years that they're there, comes up with this plan. The slaves manage to break out, and they get to this bit where all the monks live, and there's this armour that other people have tried on, but the armour kills them because it's only for those who are worthy. But Arik tries it, and it attaches itself to him, and he thinks he's worthy, and it's the first person it's found that's worthy, to much the amazement of the monks, because he's just a slave, an animal. Wow, why would he be worthy? This story brilliantly continues that, as Arik leads the slaves free with this new weaponry. He now understands what the aliens are saying, and it also grows his hand back, the armour does, and all this weaponry so that he can break out and fight back against these people. But all through the thing, his main focus is to return to Rome and to find his family and to thank the Romans pay. I don't even think he really gets that he's in space. you know, because you've got to think in 402 AD, you know, they still thought the Earth was flat, so you don't even comprehend of aliens. The art in this book is great again. It's a brilliant read. You have like what's happened so far. So if you've never read this book but you like the sound of it, pick it up, give it a go. You'll love it. And this really explains really well what's been happening. You know, the art does a good job. The art's really good. And this is the story is just ace. I won't show you no more. There's a lot more story than I've told, but I don't really want to spoil it. But XMen of War is a fantastic book. I can't praise it high enough. It's one of my favourites that comes out every month. As soon as I put it down, I'm like eagerly awaiting issue 4 or in the next issue. I'm looking so forward to the end of this. The end of this was just so brilliant, and every issue they just seem to end it on such a brilliant, you know, like you're like, I can't wait to the next one. But yeah, thumbs up all the way for this. Next up we have Captain Marvel issue 1, written by Kelly Sue McConrick, art by Dexter Soy. And the first thing that really took me by surprise was the cover is done by Ed McGuinness, and I thought, you know, it's bright, it's colourful, and I thought the art inside was going to be like this kind of style. But you know, you have this first page and it's an AR, so if you've got the app on your iPhone, you can shine your iPhone on and it plays a short video from the writer, Kelly Sue McConrick, telling you about the book. And then I turned the page to see the first art, and oh my god, it was gorgeous, but it was a totally different style, much darker, much grimier than I thought it would be. I did not expect it, and it just blew me away. I was just so in love with the art. It was just such a surprise to see this, you know. There she's off into space. It was just such a total surprise, and I did love this issue. It's a great introduction issue. It just really tells you who she is, why she's now Captain Marvel. You have a bit at the beginning where she teams up with Captain America to beat the Absorbing Man. He says she should change her name, and she has all these reservations about it, and then she goes into space and decides, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then we sort of kick on the second half of the story as we see this friend she's caring for who's got cancer, and we learn a bit about this pilot that she used to know, who she looked up to, who's this woman pilot that broke all these records. And then she goes to the funeral at the end, which is a really nice moment. I enjoyed this book. It didn't blow me away. Like when I read XMen of War and Saga, when I read the first issues of them, I was blown away. I was like, wow, I'm getting those books. But this didn't blow me away like that. But it was a good first issue. It tells you everything you need to know about Captain Marvel. So if you've never read any of the Avenger books and you're sort of tempted to pick it up, get it. You don't need to have read nothing. This explains everything you need to know about Carol Danvers, who is Captain Marvel. But it doesn't really set where are we going to go with the story. I enjoyed the writing, I enjoyed the art. I think Kelly Sue McConrick's got a really good handle on who Carol Danvers is. As we get to see different sides of her, we get to see her badass side when she's training. There's this one bit where she's trying to make up her mind about what Steve Rogers has said, and she's sort of training with Spider-Man, because they do have quite a friendship, and she's just total badass. But then there's softer moments where she's caring for her friend. There's that softer moment as well. So I think McConrick's going to do a really good job with this book, and I've loved it. I loved that first issue, and I give it a thumbs up. And I'll be back. Like I say, it didn't blow me away, but it created enough curiosity that I'll be back. I then picked up issue 2 and issue 3 of World's Finest. Basically, they've come across from Earth 2, and so they've had to set up new lives. Huntress was Robin. She's the daughter of Batman and Catwoman on Earth 2. She's changed her name to Huntress. While Power Girl, she was formerly known as Supergirl on Earth 2, and she's the cousin of Superman. but then they've come to Earth 1 and they've sort of set this new life for themselves, and basically Power Girl's obsessed with getting home. She found this tunnel machine that might be able to make a tunnel for them to get home, but then this character called Haku showed up, and he's just destroyed the building, and so they're battling him, and this issue sort of kicks off with the fight. You know, I really loved the art here by George Perez. I thought was really good, as they battle this guy and Haku, and they don't really know why he's attacked this facility in Japan. We then jump to the past, and we keep jumping to the past, and they show us a little bit more all the time, and sort of shows you how they've got their money and all sort of what they've been doing while they've been on Earth 1. A little bit at a time sort of revealed, and also a little bits of information about Earth 2 are revealed in this, as you know, they talk about people on Earth 2 and what their life was like there. So then this issue ends with Huntress in peril as Power Girl's been knocked out. Issue 3 carries on the story. They continue to fight Haku as he's trying these reactors to get the energy, get the radiation, and they're both just really good books. I enjoyed them. The thing that I think the writer does really well, Paul Levitz, I think, was it Paul? Yeah, Paul Levitz. The thing that he does really well on these books is it is the friendship. You get the real sense of there being a friendship between Huntress and Power Girl, that they've got this deep friendship that has been going for years, and you get that feel of it, and which I really like. And also they're like totally different sort of characters as well, which really works well for the book. And the fact that Huntress is trying to make it the best of it here, while Power Girl's obsessed with sort of getting home. And sort of in here, so the way Haku talks, he knows they're not from this world. So, like, and Power Girl's always felt that there was somebody else. When they come over, there was a third person. So like, they're sort of thinking it was Haku now, and that he may be something to do with Darkseid and Apocalypse. It could even be a parademon. So it's all really good. I think this book's gone along really well. I like, you know, like I said, Levitt's characterization of these characters, and I'm really digging George Perez's art. So I think for issue 2, thumbs up, and for issue 3, thumbs up. And I'd say, yeah, check it out. It's a good little read, and it's fun. It's not like end of the world dark stuff. It's a bit of fun. Next up, we have DC Universe Presents. This is a series. This is a book that showcased lesser known heroes who have a good story but don't have the popularity to have an ongoing book. So they change it. First 4 issues were Dead Man. Then they had 4 issues following the Challengers of the Unknown, and the last 3 issues have been Savage. And this is the final part of the 3-part story. Vandal Savage is a caveman, or was a caveman, who is immortal. So he's been around since caveman times, and he's seen civilizations come and go, but he's still kept his beliefs and his traditions of human sacrifice to honour the gods. And you can't do that in today's age, and he's been locked up as a serial killer. His daughter's disowned him. She can't believe the things that he's done. She now works for the FBI. They've got this copycat murderer who has kidnapped the governor's daughter. So they've enlisted the help of Vandal Savage to try and profile who this guy is and what he's doing. His only request is that his daughter work the case, because he wants to spend time with her because she won't see him. So Cass Sage, his daughter, they go into the field, and he helps them to locate this hidden church where the killer is hiding. She then gets him to take him back to the helicopter. He then realizes it's a trap. They won't let him contact his daughter to tell her, so he escapes, and she gets captured by the killer. This issue, the art, once again, Bernard Chang does a great job with the art. It's revealed that the killer, as you can see here, Vandal Savage turns up to save his daughter, and the killer is revealed to be Stephen Ward. His father was the one who identified Savage as the murderer, and Savage killed his father when his father tried to arrest him, and so he wants revenge. He's gone through this whole elaborate plot of doing his murders to sort of catch Vandal Savage. A really good book. I really loved it. Robertson's a really talented writer. Here's a picture of Savage. I like how he can only get the one harm off of that, so he does use it as a weapon. I'll show you that scene again here where he sort of like swings it and uses it like a weapon, which I do like. Robertson's just a talented writer, that it's written so that you could read this and not have read the previous issues, and you could totally follow this story. So, you know, it's a really good read. Vandal Savage is a fascinating and complex character, and I really like Cass as well. She was a really cool character as well, and you know, it's a shame. Hopefully we'll see more of them in the future somewhere, but that was a good book and give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed that run. Next up we have Silk Spectre, which continues the story from last month. She's gone run away with her boyfriend, and they've gone to San Francisco. They've made these friends that they've moved in with, and life's going well for them. In the first half of the issue, it's kind of like a letter to Uncle Hollis, sort of telling him how they are, to tell her mom she's okay. And then you sort of jump into her thing, and she sort of becomes the Silk Spectre at night, being this superhero that, you know, her mom wanted her to be, but she's sort of done it on her own now. So she goes out at night to save people, and she's come across this guy called Guru Stein, and she sort of knows that they've made this drug that makes people want to buy things, you know, because they feel that the young people are too much into peace and love, and they need to make them more consumer friendly. And so she's trying to track down this guy called Guru Stein, and that's all I reveal, because I don't want to reveal the story. The art, once again, by Amanda, is brilliant. Amanda Connors does such a fantastic job with the art on this issue, and the way that they write her is just fantastic. I really enjoyed this book, and it was one of the books I wasn't looking forward to at the Before Watchmen series, but I'm really enjoying this book. Darwin Cook writes it so well, and Amanda Connor just illustrates it beautifully, and yeah, I definitely give this one, Silk Spectre, a thumbs up. Finally, last but not least, we've got Justice League. We find out more about this villain called Graves, who has sort of beaten up the Justice League, and we find a bit more about him in this issue, as they're trying to track him down because they know he's got Stephen Trevor. Wonder Woman is going like, he's feeling really guilty about, because I think she does have feelings for Trevor, but she just doesn't feel, but for whatever reason she won't act on him. So she's gone pretty crazy. She wants to go off on her own to find Graves and to find Trevor. Green Lantern says no, we're going to go as a team. Green Lantern end up having this fight which Graves broadcasts across the world. Superman tries to break it up, and she kicks Superman. You know, and then they Cyborg beams them out of there, and they find the track, and they've managed to locate Graves, and they go to this, and it sort of ends up with them being in this place called the Valley of Souls, where they see people that they've lost, and there's a really heart-wrenching last page, and I thought this issue was really good. Jeff Johns is on top form, and it's really starting to move forward, the story is, and what I like is you get the impression that for the last 5 years they've been really kicking everybody's ass, the Justice League, and have found it easy as this team, but now they're up against a villain who seems to be one step ahead of them, who seems to be trying to break down their image as well as breaking them apart as a team. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. And the backup, the Shazam backup, is getting better. I really like him, Billy Batson. I like the character development that they've done as we got deeper into who he is. So I'm really enjoying this at the moment. The art is really good as well. The highlights for me here in Justice League is Wonder Woman and Green Lantern fight, and then there's Wonder Woman and Superman there. So those were the highlights for me, but I enjoyed this, and I'd give it a thumbs up, and I think, you know, this is one to keep eye on. I think it's just going to suddenly explode, and it's going to be great, because I think it's getting better every month. That's my reviews for this week. I will hopefully be back beginning of next week with some more reviews on the Marvel graphic novel collection, and then next Friday I'll have my comic book reviews up for next week. Hope you all have a good week. Thanks for watching. If you want to keep up on my videos, up there should be a subscribe button, so in your feed you'll be able to see when I've made a new video, and down there if you liked it. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a good week. Bye for now.